Hello, and welcome to another railway history themed Mavic Mini flight, this time over the 1 mile and 17 yard long and over 180-year old Clay Cross tunnel, though I realise it's sort of missing the point of a tunnel to look at it from the air. However, in this case, one of Clay Cross Tunnel's most striking features is its castle-like north portal. Built to impress, it's a sad fact that its location is such that there's nowhere that the public can view its imposing glory, other than from above. The portal is Grade 2 listed, and this is how its designation describes it. Rock-faced stone and ashlar, 2 tapering octagonal towers with sloping ashlar bases, moulded string courses to tops of base and tower, slit and arrow windows to towers. Above, castellated embattlements, between, large elliptical arch with rounded mouldings, above, projecting castellated parapets on moulded corbels. So now we know. Clay Cross is built on coal, literally and historically. The North Midland Railway contracted the famous engineer George Stephenson to survey and build its 72-mile long railway between Leeds and Derby. Stephenson discovered that the coal deposits found during tunnelling at Clay Cross was of the quality required for turning it into coke, something the railway company desperately needed for its engines. Being nobody's fool, he quickly staked his claim with the landowner, the Wingworth estate, and formed the Clay Cross Company to mine the coal and turn it into coke before selling it back to the railway company which employed him in the first place. The wide expanse of ground in the V of the junction between the original North Midland Railway and the later Erewash Valley extension of the Midland Railway, all now about to be consumed by housing, was the site of the Clay Cross Works and their various pits, as well as extensive railway sidings. Simply a massive industry. It was later known as Bywaters Pipe Works, but that company fell into the clutches of asset strippers and closed in the year 2000. For obvious reasons, our aerial survey doesn't include the 8 ventilation shafts which spring up among the streets of Clay Cross, and we will instead move to the south portal. After we watch the 701 Edinburgh to Plymouth cross-country service dive into the tunnel. The south portal is a complete contrast. Located in the slightly less industrialised area of Clay Lane, and almost within the shadow of the 1851 St Bartholomew's Church, itself built on land donated by George Stephenson, the south portal is not nearly as elaborate as its north counterpart, for reasons no one seems able to explain. This end of the tunnel was worthy only of a relatively simple arch formed of local gritstone. One of the most fascinating parts of the landscape here is the trackbed of the former Ashover Light Railway. Operating from 1925 until 1950, using surplus materials from the First World War, including the 60cm gauge track, it was built to link the Clay Cross Company with its quarries near Ashover. Mostly following the contours of the land over a circuitous route of 7.5 miles, in its first few years it even carried passengers, mainly day trippers escaping to the countryside. Other than a large section now lying under the Ogston Reservoir, the route of the line is remarkably intact and can be seen paralleling the Midland Railway between Clay Cross and Stretton Station, which we are now examining. The station at Stretton was almost a mile from the village it served, and perhaps most notably for weary homebound passengers about 125 feet lower down in the valley. Initially known as Smithy Moor and later Stretton for Ashover, it was closed on the 11th of September 1961. As we saw around the North Portal, the low winter sun, while making the countryside lovely and bright for us, makes the contrast of the deep cutting all the more gloomy and difficult to see the detail within. Following that high-speed return to Clay Cross, let's just go back and see where the track of the light railway curves off on its route back to the Clay Cross works to the north. All in all, this is an area with a wealth of industrial history, now largely reclaimed by nature or by redevelopment. I'll put some links in the description for further reading, and of course an online search for Clay Cross Tunnel will reveal lots of further information. And that's it for this particular flight, but on the same day I went and explored another railway location a little further south. I hope you'll come back for a video of that outing here soon. Thanks for watching, bye.